I don't get it. What do you mean? Isn't it obvious? The chicken here, she has her head pointed to the left while walking forwards to the right. It clearly is a metaphor for humanity, looking backwards but always progressing. How do you not get this? So, all art is supposed to show a message, right? The thing I love about photography is that message is usually pretty clear. It's less abstract. We are taking one moment of time for whatever you're photographing. Whether it be a landscape where we're talking about geological time, or street photography where you're taking a moment out of someone's life, we're all about capturing that moment. Street photography, I think, is so far my favorite style because one moment of one person's life is a lot more significant than one moment of a mountain's life. So, we're back in Niagara Falls. We're gonna do some street photography. Let's go. So, we've now done our second street photography adventure. There are some things that I think I did a lot better, other things that still need a lot of improvement. So first of all, I'm glad that I achieved my goal of getting right up in people's faces and not being like aggressive or anything, but not being afraid of taking a good photo, getting them right in the frame. The only issue with this is that I feel like I maybe took it a little too far, and it changed from doing like authentic street style photography to almost closer to doing like portraits. So there's a lot less focus on the street itself. Technically we weren't even on the street, we were like inside the building, but it was still like a public place where people were milling around. So, you know, it's sort of still street photography, just not actually on a street. But yeah, because I was trying to put a lot more focus on the subject, it almost turned into more of a portrait rather than street photography, whereas when you're doing street photography, you do want the environment to be part of the picture as well. So I think I need to find a middle ground between those two, and I think that what I want to do next time to try and do this is I'm going to try and stake out a good location, and instead of walking around looking for people doing things and taking a picture, I'm instead going to stay around that one location and wait for a subject to come through, rather than walking around and trying to find something that just lines up naturally. It's going to involve a lot more patience, but hopefully we get something that is a good mixture of the subject being the environment and also the subject being the person walking through it. So we'll see how that goes for next time. One thing that I am really happy about is in my last video I talked about when I did my time lapse and things didn't turn out exactly how I wanted. It didn't look bad, but it wasn't great. And I said that I wanted to slow down the shutter speed even more to get those blurry movement trails. And I think that with this one I did today, this achieved that goal. So to film this time lapse, it was a string of pictures put together to form like a quote movie. But what we did was it was 1.6 second exposures, and then we strung together, I believe, 300 of them, and they were all taken with a 2-second interval. So the result of that is that each picture captures some movement unless someone is standing like exactly still for that 1.6 second period. We string those all together and you have movement, right? You have blurred movement, and we achieved the goal of not one single person being really noticeable, and we just sort of captured the idea of movement happening, and this is really good to use as like a transition. I think that I could still improve with this. I'm going to continue to work on them, but overall I'm a lot happier with this one than the last one. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did, please subscribe. If you didn't, leave a comment telling me what you didn't like. If you liked something a lot, leave a comment telling me that too. I'll see you next time. Happy shooting.
What a waste.